there any scenes or sequences that you guys shot for any of the films that kind of made it to the cutting room floor that you wish had made it to the final cut? Anything that wasn't?
Yeah, I mean, you know, with MARTA and I, we spent all that time doing actually a great effect that, that, you know, never made it in, and it was because of the rating. But yeah, you never see the spear go through us. And I mean, I got a couple of pictures of it, you know, being done, some makeup shots and stuff. But I'm pretty amazed that that footage hasn't shown up on as extra or anything. You know, I would think that, you know, it was a cool effect. I don't know, maybe it didn't work on film, I don't know. But I know that it was because of the rating that they cut it.
Yeah, well, when I was bent over backwards at the end of the, you know, part 6, of course, you probably know that there's one version that it's like speeded up, you know, little pieces are chopped out to diminish the intensity of that because it was just too intense. But there are versions out there in regular motion, which is pretty intense. And the flip side, I just want to say, because you wouldn't know this, is that whole fight scene that I had with Jason, that was not in the original script. That was added while we were filming because they liked what was going on and they liked how Sheriff Garris was evolving. They said, we want to add this. They came up to me one day and told me, and I was thrilled, of course, and you know, worked with the stuntman on that and just had a blast. And CJ was great to work with on that. There was a shot, well, you know, when I'm hitting him on the head with the rock. Those rocks were made of styrofoam. We had a wind machine. They had a wind machine going, and so during one of the takes, one of the rocks just blew through the frame. You know? So, cut, you know, got to do that again. And then CJ's a strong guy, he's a gentle giant. But there's a point where I'm beating him up, and you think, hey, maybe I'm going to get somewhere. And suddenly he just lifts me up, right? CJ really lifted me up, let me tell you. I didn't have to do anything. I was at his mercy at that moment, for real.
I had a question for Amy. The end of part 2 seems a little bit abrupt. We see you get in the ambulance and it's kind of unclear what happened to your boyfriend, etc. Was there anything filmed for the ending of part 2 that didn't make it into the final cut?
You know what? I don't know. I mean, you talk to John Fury, and you know, there's, I guess he lived. I know it was kind of ambiguous. It's like, did he live? Did he die? I don't know. God, I thought we were going to do these things, and Steve Miner was going to be around, and we could ask him these questions. I haven't talked to him for a while, but maybe he knows. I don't think so. Do you guys know anything? Is anything else? I'm sorry, I wish it was some great mystery, but...
It couldn't be all the partying that's gone on from the 80s and nobody remembers it.
I know, because, you know,
Always
my
that
brain's
possibility.
a little soft.
Well, there was also the alternative scene where Darcy wore a tube top, which you might have liked better than the way that one turned out.
As far as I can tell in part 6, what they shot ended up in that movie. I don't remember, you know, anything that I was around. It ended up on screen.
Yeah, certainly, you know, when, at least I know with 2, it was low budget. So essentially,
I'm like 5. I made 10
I mean,
million.
yeah.
You didn't make 10 million?
Well, that's where the budget went. Thank you very much. I have to talk to my agent about that. But a lot of it was, yeah, you got 1 or 2 takes. That was it. You know, it was a luxury if you did 3 takes. So a lot of the stuff, you know, and some of the stuff was, you know, some of the dialogue, at least for me, because I was, I was, I don't know. But you ad lib, so you know, okay, they're only doing 1 or 2 takes. Let me just throw in a little something. You know, they're not going to want to cut it. They're not going to want to reshoot. So the whole scooter thing with Tom McBride's character, that was me. And I was shocked that they let me get away with it. You know, because I thought, no, politically incorrect.
Huh. What a creative actor.
It's too bad I'm not still working.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Macchio and John Addison. And I've seen David on Without a Trace. And you work with Tom again, right? On
Without a Trace?
Yeah. We're John Without a Trace?
Yeah, I did do Without a Trace,
Yeah.
but no.
Not with Tom?
No.
What was that like for you guys on each of those sets?
I haven't met any of these, wait a minute, I haven't met any of these guys when I've worked as it happens. It happens, some of you know that I'm also an acting coach, and I coached on Pet Cemetery. I coached Dale Midkiff on Pet Cemetery. And one day I showed up on a set of Magnificent Seven, and Dale didn't know I was showing up, and that was kind of fun, you know, that kind of thing. You know, so it's just a treat. You just show up and somebody goes, oh my God, you know. Because there's so many times in this business, in the acting, where you say, oh, I'll see you again. You know, it's real intense when you're working together, and then you never see that person again. Or 10 years pass, and you see that person again. And so it is a treat to run into somebody again and get to work with them. Fun.
Yeah, and actually, you know, the fact that we get to come to these conventions, I mean, I haven't seen Amy since the film. I haven't seen MARTA since the film. And, you know, it's great, you know, to get together and say, you know, gee, hey, how are you doing?
I haven't seen Tom since the film. It's exactly the same. It's like yesterday.
Yeah, I
I
know.
believe it's also a coast to live on. I live on the West Coast. You tend to see people in business on the West Coast all the time. I don't mean to say it, but I happen to live in California. You run into them every day, all the time, and I happen to get sick of it for real. Believe I have not seen these people in quite a while.